17 weeks from tonight, 119 days from now, the biggest NFL season in history will kick off on Thursday night, September the 9th, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will open the defense of their Super Bowl championship and hang only their second Super Bowl championship banner at Raymond James Stadium. From 1978 up until last year, 256 regular season games spanning 17 weeks. But starting this year and going forward, 272 regular season games spanning 18 weeks, making this the biggest season in NFL history. And it all culminates on Sunday, February 13th, 2022, at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, with Super Bowl 56 on NBC. Hello, friends, and welcome to one of our biggest Strictly Sports shows of the year and one of my personal favorite shows. It is our 10th annual, if you can believe that. This is our 10th annual Strictly Sports NFL schedule release special. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We got Michael Bullock here. Gentlemen, without any further ado, let's dive right on in. We started off, of course, you got to start, as always. You always start at the beginning. And we started off with week number 1 of this biggest NFL season ever, which will kick off exactly 17 weeks from tonight, 119 days from now, at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, when your Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, will open up the defense of their Super Bowl championship against the Dallas Cowboys on NBC, 8:20 kickoff. Of course, that's the first notable game. And of course, if anybody out there watching is brand new to this special edition of Strictly Sports, it's very simple. We look at all the games for each week, and we pick out the games that we feel are the standouts, the must-see games. And it starts off with that one, the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady and company opening up defense of their Super Bowl championship against Dak Prescott, who will, without a doubt, be back from his horrific injury that he suffered last season. So that's obviously the first noteworthy game. To the Sunday slate, the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Houston Texans. Noteworthy because that will be number 1 overall pick Trevor Lawrence, his NFL debut, along with his partner in crime from Clemson, Travis Etienne, going up against the Houston Texans. A possible sleeper game to watch here, the Los Angeles Chargers against the Washington football team. Justin Herbert and the Chargers. That's a team we definitely need to consider a dark horse in the AFC. Washington coming out of nowhere. Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's now his team after they unceremoniously dumped Alex Smith, which we talked about, on this show several weeks ago. Another great matchup, the Seattle Seahawks against the Indianapolis Colts. Russell Wilson in Seattle, always in contention. But for Indy, another new quarterback. This time it's Carson Wentz. Can Carson Wentz repeat the success of Phillip Rivers from last season? This may not be an exciting game, but it's only noteworthy because this is a revenge game. The New York Jets against the Carolina Panthers. Sam Darnold is now the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. He goes up against his former team. How about the Arizona Cardinals squaring off against the Tennessee Titans in a cross-flex game on CBS? Arizona, J.J. Watt, and all the other big moves Arizona made going up against Derrick Henry, coming off his 2,000-yard season. San Francisco 49ers against the Detroit Lions, only because Jared Goff, now the new starting quarterback of the Detroit Lions, In San Francisco, a lot of big things coming out from them. A lot of experts very high on them. We'll see how they do. When it comes to the early window, there is no question about it. The game of the early window. Great matchup here. The Pittsburgh Steelers against the Buffalo Bills from the newly named Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. I can't wait to see how my team fares against them. That's a tough one right off the bat, but they've had their number the last 2 times, so we'll have to wait and see. And I'll give you the Philadelphia Eagles against the Atlanta Falcons as well. Philly, they have a new quarterback now, Jalen Hurts. We'll see what he can do against the Atlanta Falcons. And that's from the early window. Late window, of course, the headliner in the late window. And the game that MF and I are going to have, the Tony and Mikey special for opening day week. The Cleveland Browns against your 2-time defending AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs. If it's anything like that divisional game in January, it's going to be something else. Green Bay Packers against the New Orleans Saints. Saints, life after Drew Brees begins here. Will it be Jameis Winston? Will it be Taysom Hill? Only time will tell there. And, of course, with Green Bay, the saga with Aaron Rodgers, the drama going on with him. Will he be back? Will he not be back? We don't know. But that's a noteworthy game. Miami Dolphins against the New England Patriots. Buddy Bull there. MF, Eric Carrier, and the Dolphin family against Bullock, Derek, and the Patriot Nation. Second year in a row, they're meeting in Foxborough on opening week, but this time it's in the late window, not the early window. And the first Sunday night football game of the year, the Chicago Bears against the Los Angeles Rams. Andy Dalton, now the new quarterback of the Chicago Bears, against Matthew Stafford, now the quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams. And then from there, the season premiere of Monday Night Football to close it out, the Baltimore Ravens and the Las Vegas Raiders, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Fingers crossed that we'll actually have fans in there this time. So, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, Derek Carr and the Raiders. Those are just, to me, the noteworthy games of opening week in the National Football League, the biggest season ever. Not much more to say. Good old MF, Michael Fletcher, my partner in crime, come on in. The greatest broadcast team in TXN history. We're ready to do it one more time. So week number 1, what looks good to you?
Well, you pretty much covered every game. I don't think there's really much for me to add here. I mean, the expectations are really high for Buffalo. Pittsburgh, I think a lot of people are wondering, how are they going to bounce back? Remember, they started out 11-0 last year and then fell apart at the end. Right out of the gate, they get a major matchup with the Buffalo Bills, where a lot of people not only believe that Buffalo will win the division again, but there are a couple of prognosticators right now that thinks Buffalo is going to the Super Bowl this year. I mean, that's how far they think they can go. So this is Buffalo's big test, first major challenge of the year. We're going right at it, right out of the gate. They're going up against an elite team of the AFC. Let's see how they play. I think that's the key word there. Seattle and Indy is a sleeper matchup of the week, no doubt about it. Arizona and Tennessee is a sleeper matchup on the 1 o'clock side. 4:25, like you said, Cleveland and KC, Miami and New England are the 2 standouts, to say the very least. If for some reason Aaron Rodgers does stay with Green Bay, then yes, Green Bay versus the New Orleans Saints will be a third matchup that you want to keep a very close full eye on. But the Sunday night game, Chicago versus LA, is a big matchup because this is really a chance to see who are they going to start Justin Fields. And if they do, he's going up possibly up against Aaron Donald in that defense. How are they going to react to that? And then the Monday Nighter, Baltimore in Vegas at Reliant Stadium. And from what I heard, Anthony, that the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, is gunning for 100% capacity in all NFL stadiums. That's why they've been harping really hard about getting people vaccinated, because he wants everybody and every seat to be filled in that stadium. In all of the NFL stadiums this year, he wants the stadiums to be opened up 100%, no questions asked. Well, hopefully, and if you heard what the CDC said today, we might be getting closer and closer to that actual reality of 100% for everybody to be in the seats without a mask. Very important. We'll talk about it throughout the night. Michael Bullock, it's yours on your thoughts on week 1.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, this is definitely the biggest season. I mean, I cannot wait for it. I mean, yeah, the Steelers and Bills, definitely a standout game. Obviously, of course, the Buccaneers and the Cowboys basically kicking off the season. I mean, that should be something there. And yeah, of course, the Cardinals with the new players they got. And obviously the Packers and the Saints, the first game of the Saints without Drew Brees after he retired. Of course, Dolphins Patriots, that Bears Rams game, Sunday Night Football. Yeah, and like you said, the big question. I mean, is Justin Fields going to start? And if that is the case, he's going to have to deal with Aaron Donald. So that's going to be something to watch. So that's pretty much all I got to say. I mean, you guys have pretty much touched on everything when it comes to week 1. Let's go to week 2 for you.
And MF, you'll start it off. Week 2, we'll look good to you.
Yeah, week 2, we start off with the second Thursday night game, but this one's the official one on the NFL Network, as we got the New York Football Giants versus the Washington Football Team, one of the longest running rivalries in the NFL. This goes way back. We're talking almost early 1900 type level. This is like the level of like Green Bay versus Chicago style rivalry between these two teams. So there's some bad blood. There's some hatred between these two teams. So that's gonna have the makings of a fun matchup on Thursday night. Then the 1 o'clocks on Sunday, Buffalo and Miami. You already know the rivalry between the Dolphins and the Bills. From the days of Jim Kelly and Dan Marino to some of the bad blood, especially in the last few years, where there was even a fight that broke out between the Dolphins and the Bills. There's a rivalry. There's bad blood. They don't like each other. And there's also a little bit of a revenge factor because of the fact that, you know, the first game was a knockdown, drag-out shootout in Miami where Buffalo got away with the victory. And then the second time around, which was the Week 17, Buffalo absolutely hammers the Dolphins, literally hammers them, and not only hammers them, but knocks them out of the playoffs. Miami had a chance to get in. All they had to do was beat Buffalo. Buffalo crushed Miami, and a whole bunch of factors went against the Dolphins. Miami went out the door, fell out of the playoff hunt, and trust me, Dolphins have not forgotten about that loss, because that loss single-handedly was the death nail to the Dolphins season. As you know, a lot of people blame a lot of the Patriot fans blame the Dolphins for a lot of their misfortune. The Dolphins last year blamed Buffalo for knocking them out of the playoff hunt a year ago. So there's a little bit of a revenge factor on that game. So a little bit of a rivalry there. Other than that, you got the Rams and the Colts. That could be an interesting matchup. Raiders and Steelers. Now, it's not really two very good teams, but there's a lot of history, a lot of lineage between the Raiders and the Steelers, that there's definitely going to be a good battle there. So we got that going on. Patriots and the Jets, New England, what are they going to look like? The Jets looks like they're on a rebuild. Hey, good test for them against an AFC Eastern Division opponent. Late games, not really many games that stands out except for two. The Dallas Cowboys versus the LA Chargers, the Tennessee Titans versus the Seattle Seahawks, Sunday Night Football, NBC, Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Whoa, Lordy, that's going to be a good one. Monday night, we got the Lions and the Pack. Not really a big matchup. It looks like a decent matchup at Lambeau Field. We'll wait and see what happens. Mike Bullock, week 2, it's yours.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, week 2, I mean, like you said, I mean, obviously the season premiere of Thursday Night Football on NFL Network with the Giants and the Washington football team. The Patriots and the Jets are another thing that stand out. And of course the Bills are going up against the Dolphins. I mean, my goodness, that's always been something good when it comes to that rivalry. The Raiders and the Steelers. That's another game I'm gonna have a lot of interest in. Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys and the Chargers in one of the late games. Of course, the Chiefs and the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. And of course, the Lions and the Packers. So those are just some of the games that I have interest in for week number 2. So Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, week 2. As I look at it, of course, it starts with Buffalo and Miami, but the downer is it's not on the mothership. It's not on CBS. I don't know how Fox ended up getting it, but Fox ended up getting it. Lucky them. I mean, that could have been a fun one for myself and MF, but it is what it is. San Francisco and Philly, that's another one to keep an eye on there. Rams against Indy, I like that matchup as well. Don't sleep on Vegas and Pittsburgh. That could be a good one. I mean, Derek Carr and Ben Roethlisberger, I mean, that's definitely, and of course, all the history dating back to the 70s when they met in all those divisional playoff matchups and AFC championships. Cincinnati and Chicago, only because if it is Andy Dalton's team, it'll be his new team against his former team. So, that's the only reason why I consider that in the list. I can't believe you guys forgot about Minnesota and Arizona. I mean, I think that could be a good game. I really do. I mean, Kirk Cousins and company against Kyler Murray and, of course, J.J. Watt and the new look Cardinals. I mean, that could be a good game there. Atlanta and Tampa, that should be considered as well. That's got shootout potential. Matty Ice and Tom Brady. I mean, that's potential right there. Tennessee and Seattle, absolutely. Derrick Henry coming off that 2,000-yard season this past year against that Seahawk defense. We'll wait and see how that goes. Dallas and the Chargers, that could be a sleeper game right there. Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert, that could be a fun little sprint there. Of course, the headliner, definitely Kansas City and Baltimore. I mean, that's going to be hella fun. I can't wait for that one. And Detroit and Green Bay. I mean, Jared Goff against maybe Aaron Rodgers if he decides to come back. We'll see. So those are my standouts when it comes to week number 2. Let's move on now to week number 3. And Michael Bullock, we started off with you. Week 3. What do you like?
All right. Well, yeah, when it comes to give me just a minute to try to pull it up here. But yeah, I mean, week 3 definitely has a good amount of games here that I'm definitely interested in. So once I get it up here, here we go. And of course, it all kicks off with Thursday Night Football and the Panthers and the Texans. Then you get to the Sunday slate. You got the Falcons and Actually, no. It's the Chargers and the Chiefs with that rivalry. But guys, let's not forget about another great rivalry that's going to go down. The Bengals and the Steelers. I mean, we know the bad blood between these two. 2015 wild card game. Need I say more about that? I mean, yeah, that. I mean, if that doesn't spell rivalry, I don't know what is. So obviously, I mean, you got the Saints and the Patriots. Um, the, yeah, and the Cardinals and the Jaguars. And of course, the thing is, I am interested to see how J.J. Watt is going to get pressure on the rookie Trevor Lawrence. So that's definitely going to be something. The Washington football team and the Bills. Of course, the Dolphins and the Raiders. Seahawks and Vikings could be another good one. Of course, the late afternoon one, the Buccaneers and the Buccaneers and the Rams. Sunday night football, you got the Packers and the 49ers. And another divisional rivalry, the on Monday Night Football, the Eagles and the Cowboys. So there's really nothing more for me to add. So Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, week number 3. From my standpoint, Indianapolis and Tennessee, AFC South matchup. To me, those are the two best teams in the South. Carson Wentz and Indy against Derrick Henry in Tennessee. Chargers, Kansas City. MF and I should know from that legendary Thursday night game a few years ago. I mean, these two could easily put on a 5-star. Justin Herbert, Mahomes, two of the best young quarterbacks in the game today. That's got potential to be a 5-star there. I can't really say Cincy and Pittsburgh, but then again, maybe we'll see. I mean, yes, there's a lot of history and bad blood because it's a divisional rivalry and whatnot. I get that, but not as exciting as it was before. Chicago and Cleveland, that could be a sleeper game right there. Whether it's Andy Dalton or Justin Fields going up against Baker Mayfield and the Browns. I like that Baltimore-Detroit matchup. Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff. Could be a good one there. New Orleans and New England. I definitely like that matchup. Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill against either Cam Newton or Mac Jones, depending on how they decide to go about it. Washington, Buffalo, battle of division winners. Ryan Fitzpatrick, former Buffalo Bill at one time, and he'll be going up against his former team in Buffalo. Those are the highlights from the early window. Late window, Miami and Las Vegas. I mean, the game they had on that Saturday night, I believe it was the day after Christmas. I'll never forget it. I think we were doing an NFL show that night, or we were doing some sort of show that night. I remember very vividly. We watched. I mean, we did a little bit of some commentary on that game. MF lost his damn mind, but then again, what else is new? Because it was his team after all. Seattle and Minnesota. That's a sleeper matchup to keep an eye on. Tampa Bay and the Rams. That's America's game of the week right there. Brady and the champs against Stafford and the new look Rams at SoFi. That's got potential to be a fun one. Green Bay and San Fran. A lot of history with those two. Rematch of the NFC Championship game from a couple years ago. Levi's Stadium. And then Philly and Dallas on the Monday night. So not a bad week 3 to say the very least. So MF, I mean, you better than anybody knows the epicness that was Miami and Vegas, a 5-star in one of the games of the year last year.
Oh, without a doubt. But before we do that, obviously my matchups that I definitely have a vested interest in, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Whenever these two teams get it on, it's bad blood. We already know that. Indy and Tennessee is becoming a pretty good rivalry, divisional rivalry, to say the very least. So that one definitely sticks out. Miami and the Raiders, definitely. Tampa and the Rams. Minnesota and Seattle could be a sleeper matchup. And then What about another great divisional matchup on Monday night? The Eagles and the Cowboys in Jerry World. That definitely sticks out as well. There's really nothing more to add. Anthony, it's on to week 4.
All right, week 4, and I'll start this one off. Taking a look at the week 4 slate. I know this Thursday night game is not a very exciting matchup, but there is a little significance here. Jacksonville, Cincinnati, a battle of the last 2 number 1 overall draft picks, Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. That's the only reason that you would want to tune into that game, although it's not really an exciting matchup. The Sunday portion, Kansas City and Philadelphia, that's definitely a game to keep an eye on. Cleveland and Minnesota, that's a good one right there. Baker Mayfield, OBJ, going up against Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen. I like that matchup there. Cleveland and Minnesota, no doubt. Detroit and Chicago, obviously, with their divisional rivalry. Indianapolis and Miami, that's got potential to be a fun one there. Carson Wentz against the Dolphins at Hard Rock should be a good one there. Washington and Atlanta, that's a sleeper game right there. That's one I think we should keep an eye on. That's in the early window. Late window, it's all about the NFC West in the 2 4:05 games on Fox. Seattle, San Francisco. In San Francisco, we know the history. They have had a lot of insane games over the last couple of years. Of course, those 2 legendary games they had in 2019, that overtime thriller on Veterans Day on the Monday night in San Francisco. Week 17, when San Fran won in Seattle by a yard to get the number 1 seed in the NFC, and that's self-explanatory. Arizona against the Rams, battle of new look teams at SoFi. This next one, of course, it depends on if Aaron Rodgers comes back. If he comes back, then it's Pittsburgh and Green Bay. No doubt about that. Pitt and Green Bay at Lambeau. Big Ben, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, man, that's going to be hella fun. And I hope Aaron Rodgers comes back because I want to see that matchup. That's going to be so much fun to watch. That's got shootout potential, no doubt about it. And then, of course, perhaps the most anticipated game in NFL history, Sunday Night Football. MF and I are going to invoke our very rare cross-flex clause. We're going to invoke it because this game is just too damn big. Tom Brady makes his return to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers square off against the New England Patriots on a Sunday night in week number 4 on Sunday, October the 3rd. Mark it down on your calendars. And then Monday Night Football, the Las Vegas Raiders and the LA Chargers at SoFi. They had a fun Thursday night game last year, so we'll wait and see on that. But yep, and there it is, Michael Bullock showing it off. The new Tom Brady Tampa Bay Buccaneer jersey from this past Super Bowl. No doubt about it. And yep, and he's got the New England Patriot jersey, no doubt about it, from his Patriot days. And it is without a doubt the most anticipated game in NFL history, regular season wise. That's all there is to say on that. And the build up to this, what kind of reaction is Tom get crucified? I personally think he's not going to get crucified because, it's not like he's with a divisional rival or a past Patriot rival. If it had been a rival, forget about it. He would have been booed out of the building. But considering it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, not really any bad blood with those 2 teams, I think he'll get the hero's welcome he should rightfully deserve. And so much hype is going to go into that game, I'll tell you what. So that's all there is to say on that. So that's week 4. MF, a lot of tasty matchups in week 4, but all eyes will be on Tampa and New England, the most anticipated regular season game in NFL history.
It is the biggest game of the year. It is it is a game of the century type battle. Look, the history, the moment, the game, it's so much so that the tickets are almost around Super Bowl level. That's how crazy this game is. We're talking about maybe $1,200, and that's in the Bob Uecker seats for Gillette Stadium. We're talking Super Bowl level money for this game. That's how crazy this matchup is, and the most highly anticipated game. I mean, Eagles and Chiefs, you can definitely sticks out. Miami and Indy sticks out. Chicago and Detroit. There's a good sleeper with Cleveland and Minnesota. The Titans and the Jets, definitely. Once you get into the 4:00 games, like you said, the two divisional matchups, the two NFC Western divisional matchups, Cardinals and Rams, Seahawks and 49ers, Green Bay and Pitt. And there's actually another sleeper matchup that you didn't talk about, Anthony. Baltimore and Denver is a sleeper matchup because Denver's defense, and when they play in Mile High, they are dangerous. Miami took them too lightly, and they got smacked last year in Mile High. So don't sleep on the Broncos. They could steal one on the Ravens and take that from them. So, but like you said, all eyes are on the Patriots and the Buccaneers on that one. And then the Monday nighter is the Raiders and the Chargers. But like we said, the one game that's circled on everyone's calendar, does not matter what type of fan you are. If you're a Bill, a Dolphin, a Cowboy, a Raven, everybody and their mother is going to watch Buccaneers versus Patriots from Foxborough on October 3rd at 8:20 on NBC. Michael Bullock, it is yours. This is the game that we were talking about a year ago when Brady went to the Buccaneers, and when we found out that they were going to play the next year, you were thinking, all right, we know it's going to happen. It's just it wasn't a matter of if it's going to happen, just a matter of when. And now we found out what it's going to be. Week 4. It's good to get it out of the way early, but my God, the sentimental moments, and I know for you, especially as a New England Patriot fan, there must be so much mixed emotions that's going to be going through your mind, especially on that night.
Yeah, you ain't kidding there, Fletch. I mean, it's going to be one of the most highly anticipated, emotionally charged games that we have seen in a long, long time. I mean, yes, we got a lot of other good games going on in week number 4. You got, obviously, a lot of good headliners for week number 4. And yep, let me just get it here. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Yep, the Texans and you got the Colts and the Dolphins is one of the games. Seahawks and 49ers is another one. Those are definitely going to be some good ones. The Cardinals and the Rams, the Steelers and the Packers, Ravens and Broncos. But as you said, all eyes, the entire everybody in America is going to be tuned in to Sunday Night Football for the much anticipated return of Tom Brady to Foxborough. That is going to be, like I said, one of the most highly emotional, highly anticipated games in a long time. Everybody's going to be wondering, what will be the reaction when Tom Brady takes the field at Gillette for the first time as a visitor. I think before and after the game, guys, I think he'll get a standing ovation that he so richly deserves. But then once that ball is kicked off, it's a totally different story. I mean, you got Belichick who's gonna try to come up with a plan to stop Tom Brady. But you know Brady, he's gonna want to beat his team and prove why he's still the GOAT, why he is still the greatest of all time. I mean, you saw it when he took a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team last year and took them from a bad team to winning the Super Bowl. I mean, all I can say is it and don't forget, Rob Gronkowski returns to Foxborough too. I mean, who knows what that reception is going to be, but obviously everybody's going to be talking about Brady and the week leading to it. It's going to be something. What are the press conferences going to be like from Belichick and Brady? And will we see any kind of interaction with these two and Robert Kraft? But man, this could also be the chance for the Patriot fans to thank Brady for what he did for 20 years with that organization, bringing 6 Super Bowl championships. I mean, what can we say? I mean, there's really nothing more to say. All the other games I think are going to be good, but America is going to be glued to their TV set for Tom Brady's return. So much so, and guys, you and I mean, the three of us talked about it. We knew that we have to go to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch this game. It's just too big a game to watch it at home. But all I can say is it's going to be about as torn as I am. I mean, the Patriots are my team, but I also support Tom Brady. Because and I told you this, guys. I've actually gotten an autograph from him. That's why it's so hard for me to root against somebody like him. I was happy he won his 7th Super Bowl. So I cannot wait, and I can only imagine what the TV ratings are going to be like that night. It's going to be like
It could be Super Bowl level type of ratings. Like this could be the highest rated regular season game of all time.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is, guess what I heard about the cheapest ticket goes for this game?
Yeah.
Try $1,400.
Yeah. We're talking
insane.
Super Bowl level type of a ticket price. I actually saw one on StubHub for $1,165. I mean,
yikes.
Yeah, it is so crazy. And I know for a fact that one person that I know, and I'm not going to blare the name out, who I have been able to go to these football games in the past. And Michael Bullock, you were fortunate enough because he was the one that got us the ticket a couple of years ago for Patriots and Dolphins. He's going to raffle that ticket off. And the asking price, and you got to bid for the ticket. And right now, the asking price at the just to start is at $900.
Holy smokes.
And that's just to start. That's the starting bid is $900. So imagine how much it could go for on an open market.
You know everybody's going to be wanting to bid high for that. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes over 2,000.
Oh yeah. So, oh my God, yeah. Game of the week.
We need.
Obviously, this is the Tony and Mikey special. Game of the week. We've already marked it down. And like you said, this is the Buffalo Wild Wings game of the year. There's certain games that I'm willing to go out and maybe even, whatever. This is one of those matchups.
Absolutely. So it is yours, Florio. And all I can say is I cannot wait for this.
I know. To any wrestling promotion out there, don't you dare put a pay-per-view on this night. Don't do it. That's all there is to say.
If anybody, if any wrestling company puts a pay-per-view on this night, so help me, I'm going to crucify those guys.
Yeah, we ain't doing no damn recap show. That's all I'm saying. So
screw the recap.
Exactly.
Our eyes are going to be glued to this game. Screw everything else. We're watching this game no matter what.
And you really want to go against that? You're going to get your ass kicked.
Hell no. Hell no, we ain't going against that.
Okay. So that's all there is to say on that. So now let's continue on here. Let's move on now to week number 5. And MF, you started off. What looks good to you for week 5?
Well, you know what? As emotionally charged as week 4 is going to be, week 5. I mean, we start out with a good one. We start out with the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday night, and then we got to sell some good matchups. We got a divisional matchup in Tennessee and Jacksonville. We also got Denver and Pittsburgh. We got Philly and Carolina, Miami and Tampa. That could be the quiet game of the week more than anything else. Late games we got the Browns and the Chargers. That could be an interesting one. The Bears and the Raiders is an interesting one. Of course, and then you got a nice divisional matchup between the Niners and Arizona. And then, of course, Fox's game of the week. And it wouldn't be fitting if it wasn't the Giants and the Cowboys going at it at Jerry World, AT&T Stadium in Arlington. That's always been an emotionally charged game. But if you thought Patriots and Buccaneers was great, the next Sunday nighter, Buffalo and Kansas City. Oh, Anthony Florio, I could already feel you right now.
AFC Championship rematch.
AFC Championship rematch. And this is the moment for Buffalo fans. This could be the moment either will make you or break you. When I mean that, I mean like this. If you somehow beat Kansas City, you now become one of those elite teams of the AFC. But a loss here will say that you're good, you're even great, but you're not main event mafia level yet. This is a show me game for the Buffalo Bills. This is their moment to shine. And then we got a good Monday nighter with the Indianapolis Colts and the Baltimore Ravens. But Mike Bullock, I know you were emotionally invested in the Buccaneers and Patriots. Florio, this is your game that you're going to be emotionally invested in on that Sunday night.
Positively.
But before we get to you, Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, this is definitely there's definitely some good ones for week 5, like you said. I mean, Rams and Seahawks to kick it off, and then of course you got the Dolphins and the Buccaneers. You could also have the as you said, I mean, a lot of good ones here. So, see what else we get. But yeah, I mean, trying to get this here. I mean, yeah, you got the Bears and the Raiders for one of the late games. The 49ers and Cardinals. Uh, the Broncos and Steelers. Of course, the Colts and the Ravens on Monday night. But yeah, the Bills and Chiefs game, that's going to be the highlight of week number 5. That's going to be one that a lot of people are going to have vested interest in, especially you, Anthony Florio. Why? Because it's all about that revenge from the AFC Championship game. Can the Bills get the retribution that they are looking for? Or will the Chiefs prove that win was no fluke? So, those are just some of the things. So, Florio, it is yours.
Yeah. Rams in Seattle starting it off for week 5. Absolutely great Thursday night matchup there. Detroit against Minnesota. That's another one that's standing out to me. A sleeper game of the week, New Orleans and Washington. That could be a sleeper game right there. And it's on our end. Oh, and I would have been, I'm remiss, gentlemen, we should have mentioned this. The Jets in Atlanta in London. We got a London game, gentlemen. The Jets in Atlanta. 9:30 a.m. on the NFL Network. So, I know it's not the most attractive matchup, but the only way reason we mention it is because it is the London game, the return of the London game after we didn't have any last year because of COVID. So, but Jets in Atlanta, Detroit, Minnesota, New Orleans, and Washington, Miami and Tampa. That's got potential to be a good one there. Denver and Pittsburgh, perhaps. And those are my standouts from the early window. In the late window, Cleveland and the Chargers. I like that matchup. Chicago and Vegas, that could be another sleeper game. San Fran and Arizona, that could be a good one. Giants and Dallas, I can't say I'm all that excited about it, but you never know. It could deliver. We'll see. The game of the week, obviously, and this is the Tony and Mikey special, the AFC Championship rematch, the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. I mean, the make or break. I mean, you remember in the championship game, Buffalo jumped out to a 9-0 lead. I was getting excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is actually going to happen. I can't believe this. They just might do this thing again. But then reality set in and Kansas City said, guys, we got to turn this thing into a track meet. That's the only way we can beat them. And sure enough, they did. And don't ever let Kansas City turn a game into a track meet, because if they do, nobody beats them. Nobody. And then from there, Monday Night Football, Indianapolis Colts, Baltimore Ravens. I love that matchup. That's another top game on our end of the ledger. So, but Buffalo and Kansas City, hands down, the game of the week when it comes to week number 5, Columbus Day weekend. No question about that. So, so that's now week number 5. Let's move on to week number 6. Michael Bullock, you started off.
Yeah, and yeah, like you said, for week 6, obviously it's going to kick off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Philadelphia Eagles. So you got the young Jalen Hurts against the veteran Tom Brady, and obviously you got the Dolphins and Jags. How they going to do? How that Dolphins team going to deal with Trevor Lawrence? You got the Texans going up against the Colts. Obviously, with the history there. Obviously, the Packers and the Bears. That's another good one. The Chargers and the Ravens. Obviously, and of course, you got the another great rivalry with the Raiders and the Broncos. You got the Cowboys and the Patriots. Sunday Night Football. The Seahawks and the Steelers. and then wrap it up with Monday Night Football with the Bill and the Titans. So that's all I can say on it. So, Florio, it is yours.
Yes, sir. Week 6 started off with an interesting Thursday night matchup. Brady and the Bucks going up against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles on the Thursday night. I like that matchup. Kansas City and Washington. Definitely keep an eye on that one. That's a sleeper game right there. Green Bay and Chicago, the oldest and greatest rivalry in NFL history, meaning for like the 200th time. I mean, that's going to be always fun when they get together. The LA Chargers against the Baltimore Ravens, that's another sleeper matchup there. And those are the standouts from the early window. Late window, Arizona and Cleveland. I mean, J.J. Watt and the new look Arizona Cardinals against Mayfield and the Browns in Cleveland. Should be a good one there. Vegas and Denver, maybe that might be a sleeper game. But this 4:25 game on CBS, I'm calling it the Derek Ferreira special. It's his two teams, the Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots, Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. You know Derek's going to be all over that one. No question about that. And that might work out. That might end up being the game that he and Bullock do because, I mean, MF, that might be right around baseball playoff time for us. So that could be LCS time. So they might get that game. We'll have to wait and see. All kidding aside, Sunday Night Football, Seattle, Pittsburgh. That's a great one there. Russell Wilson, Big Ben in Pittsburgh on a Sunday night. And then Monday Night Football, Buffalo and Tennessee. That's another revenge tour game for Buffalo because you remember last year they played on a Tuesday night because of COVID. And Tennessee absolutely whooped and manhandled Buffalo. Derrick Henry ran roughshod on us. Hopefully Buffalo will get that retribution there as well. So that's another one to look forward to there. That's another one of our big games of the week on our end. So some interesting matchups as MF and I will probably be beginning our baseball playoff commitments. So that's all there is to say on that. But MF, when it comes to week 6, to me, the standout game, it may not be the most exciting. You never know, but Dallas and New England, that's the Derek Ferreira special.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You always start with the Thursday night game. The interesting one and the one that I'm really got my eye on, and it's going to be very interesting, is the Miami versus Jacksonville being from London, being at Tottenham Stadium.
I forgot about that one.
In London. We got that one. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which oddly enough is actually the Olympic Stadium of the 2012 Summer Olympic Games. That's the stadium that they play in now. So they turned that into a soccer stadium. So that's going to be the game over there. One of 2 games that's going to be in London this year. I think the other one's Atlanta. We'll get into that. So I already
mentioned it. Mentioned it. It's the Jets in Atlanta the week before.
The week before that. So you got that one there. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, no doubt about that. Pittsburgh and Seattle on Sunday night, and then obviously the Cowboys and the Patriots, 2 of the most popular teams in the NFL going at it. So we're going to find out who the real America's team is on that afternoon. So we'll see. Florio, it's yours.
All right. And with that, we move on to week number 7 and pull it up here. Let's take a look at what week 7 has. This will probably be right around World Series time, maybe. So, but let's see. Thursday night football. We got Denver against Cleveland. How about this very appetizing early matchup here? Kansas City and Tennessee. Ooh, that's a beauty right there. I mean, Mahomes against Henry. Oh man, that's gonna be a bloodbath right there. Washington and Green Bay. That's a sleeper game. Again, depending on if Aaron Rodgers comes back, we'll see. Atlanta and Miami. Keep an eye out for that one. Matty Ice against Tua and the Dolphins in Hard Rock. Could be a good one there. We'll see. Of course, Detroit and the Rams. Jared Goff returning to Los Angeles as a visitor with the Lions against his replacement, Matthew Stafford. A big hullabaloo was made about that big transaction that went down end of January. We talked about it in great detail on this program, so go back into our archives and look for that. Late window. Well, actually, that leads off the late window. Philly and Vegas. Jalen Hurts against Derek Carr. That could be a fun sleeper matchup. Houston and Arizona, only because it's J.J. Watt going up against his former team, a team that he made so much history with in the Houston Texans. Chicago and Tampa Bay, renewal of an old NFC North divisional rivalry, the old NFC Norris. Sunday Night Football, Indianapolis and San Francisco. That could be a fun sleeper matchup there. Carson Wentz going up against the Niners. And then Monday Night Football, New Orleans and Seattle. Good matchup there. So those are my standouts for week number 7. MF, what says you for week 7?
Well, Anthony, on this one, I gotta say it's gonna be. Look, of course, we start off with a pretty good Thursday night game with Denver and Cleveland, and then right after that, yeah, there's a few matchups there. Cincy and Baltimore, Tennessee and Kansas City. Definitely the early games that really stand out. Miami and Atlanta's a little bit of a sleeper matchup more than anything else. So it's the Jets in New England. That's always been a pretty good matchup. AFC Eastern Division matchups are always interesting. Late games once we get there, like you said, Lions and Rams are definitely one. Eagles and the Raiders, that could be a compelling matchup. Chicago and Tampa, that could really stand out. And then you got Arizona versus Houston. J.J. Watt facing his old team. How's that going to look? The Sunday nighter, not really a huge matchup, but could be a decent one with Indy and San Fran. And then the Monday night with New Orleans and Seattle. So, good matchups on week 7. Not many standing out, but we'll go from there. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, there's some interesting ones to say the very least. Obviously, the Jets and the Patriots. You got the Chiefs and the Titans going at it. You also got the Texans and the Cardinals. You got the Bears and the Buccaneers. Colts, 49ers, and then Saints and the Seahawks. So, yeah, so that's pretty much all I can say. So, Florio, it is yours.
All right. Let's move on now to week number 8. And MF, what stands out to you for week number 8, right around Halloween?
Yeah, right around Halloween. Well, we start out with a good one. We start out with Green Bay and Arizona. If you remember the playoff game a few years ago, that 5-star classic of I think it was a wild card game. Everybody remembers that epicness between Arizona and Green Bay.
2 5-star classics. They had 2 5-star classics.
Yeah, so
a wild card game in January of 2010, but I think the one you're thinking of is that divisional one with that legendary Hail Mary by the American hero.
Yeah, but that didn't even help them because I believe Arizona went on to win the game regardless in overtime, if I remember correctly.
Yes, both times.
Yeah, so we got that one going. Dallas and Minnesota. Well, that's the Sunday night game. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun there. Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Indy and Tennessee. We also got a good one between the Bears and the 49ers. Now, this is interesting because remember the NFL draft. A lot of people were wondering, Justin Fields maybe becoming a 49er. There was also the Trey Lance thing. There was also the Mac Jones. So we could have possibly Trey Lance versus Justin Fields in that matchup. We'll wait and see, but that could be a sight for sore eyes, as we would say. Then the later matchups, obviously Miami and Buffalo are trick or treat in Orchard Park. We'll see if it's a trick or a treat on that day for either team. Late games we gotta talk about the New England Patriots and the LA Chargers. Last year, the Chargers and the Patriots faced each other off in SoFi, and it was a bloodbath. The Patriots absolutely crushing Justin Herbert and the Chargers into submission on that day. Chargers haven't forgotten about that. They're looking for revenge. Tampa and New Orleans, always a very good, interesting matchup on a divisional factor. Sunday night, we got ourselves the Cowboys and the Vikings. And then the Monday nighter, the Giants and the Chiefs. I don't know why that's the Monday night game. Maybe because it's Kansas City, but against the Giants? Ooh, I don't know, ESPN. I think you might have screwed the pooch on that one. I would have gone with Buccaneers and Saints as your Monday nighter, not this one. I don't know. We'll see. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, Packers and Cardinals, I think, could be a good one for the Thursday night, and obviously the Titans and the Colts. That's a highlight there for what I'm interested in. The Steelers and the Browns. I mean, that's another one there. I mean, yeah, and of course the Patriots and the Chargers. The Buccaneers and the Saints, and yeah, the Cowboys and the Vikings. I mean, that's basically all the standout games for me. So, Florio, it is yours.
All right, week number 8 for me, Green Bay and Arizona. Like MF mentioned, those 2 epic playoff games that they had years ago. And then from there, that's on the Thursday night. And then Tennessee and Indy, their second meeting at Lucas Oil Stadium. First meeting between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. That's going to be hella fun. You know the bad blood between those two, especially that wild card game from this past January. Philly and Detroit, that's a sleeper game right there. San Fran and Chicago, that could be a sleeper game as well. Miami and Buffalo, at least this time, we're going to get it on the mothership. This will be on CBS, and, that could be a game right there. We'll see. New England and the Chargers. Will it be another 45-0 beatdown that the Patriots gave the Chargers, and what was hands down their best game of last year for New England? No doubt about that. Late window, Washington and Denver. That's a sleeper matchup. Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Obviously, there's still history there, even though Drew Brees is no longer around. And then, of course, Dallas and Minnesota. A lot of history with those two. Mainly back in the 70s. I mean, that was a great rivalry in the 1970s. A lot of playoff history there. So that could be a fun little NFC throwback there. And yeah, that's pretty much all for week number 8. So with that, let's move on to week number 9. And Michael Bullock, started off with you. Let's look at week number 9. What do you see there?
All right, week number 9. I mean, for me, the standouts for this one, obviously, I got to go with the Falcons and the Saints, and of course, Cam Newton returns to Carolina as the Patriots take on the Panthers, the Vikings, and the Ravens. I mean, that's another standout for me. Yeah, and of course, Texans and Dolphins is another one. The Packers and the Chiefs, that could be a good one if Aaron Rodgers stays, which we all hope he does. the Cardinals and 49ers. Then you got the Titans and the Rams, and yeah, Bears and Steelers on Monday night. So, Florio, it is yours.
All right, week number 9. From my end, Atlanta, New Orleans. That's going to be fun. I mean, there's a lot of history with that. I mean, always fun when they get together. That could be a shootout there. Denver and Dallas. I mean, that's a sleeper game right there. As as is Minnesota and Baltimore. That's pretty much those are pretty much the standouts from the early window. Late window, the Chargers and Philly, Chargers and Eagles. That could be a good one there. Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, 2 young studs there. Of course, this one depends on if Aaron Rodgers comes back. Theme of any Packer game. If he comes back, Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes. Do I even need to sell that thing any further?
Could be game. That would be game of the week. That actually might be the reason I might want to break the rule again. I might want to break the.
But it's a Fox game. So,
yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, if it was on our end, absolutely, we would have been all over that. But Green Bay and Kansas City, it is a Fox game. Buck and Aikman, they're going to be all over that one. Hopefully Rodgers comes back. Arizona, San Francisco, that's another good one there. But Monday Night Football, MF, I mean, we got a good one here. I mean, Tennessee and the Rams, I mean, we can't complain about that. That could be our game right there. So, pending on how the records go. And then Monday Night Football, 2 of the premier teams in NFL history, the Chicago Bears and the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh on the Monday nights. So, not too many exciting games. But there's no question about it. I mean, Tennessee and the Rams, definitely the big game on our end, no doubt about that. But MF, when it comes to week number 9, all eyes will be on Green Bay and Kansas City, but only if the American hero comes back.
And there's a major if there's a lot of games that could be affected if that happens. But yeah, you said it. Kansas City and Green Bay is the marquee matchup. This is what the NFL was hoping for. Big time matchups that they can put at the 425 window, because I think what they want to do is they want to give us a marquee game at 1, a marquee game at 4:30, the Sunday night, the Monday night, and this one was meant to be a marquee matchup. If Aaron Rodgers does stay in Green Bay and plays against Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City, man, that's a matchup that everybody's going to be watching, no doubt about it. So, yeah, without a doubt, we're going to wait and see how that goes. Plus, the Dolphins and the Texans, and we all remember the trade that's caused everything that's been going on for the Miami Dolphins. So, how's that going to look? Because that's Laramie Tunsil, Kenny Stills. This is going to be the first time they're going to be facing the Miami Dolphins since that trade. How's that going to look? So that also got my eye on more than anything else, because Laramie Tunsil, even though they made the trade, he's become quite a hero for the Miami Dolphins because of all of the moves that they were able to make through the draft. And they still got some moves to make next year because of what they have done. So we'll wait and see what happens. Nothing more to say, Anthony. We're about halfway. We're already halfway home through this schedule. We're at week 10 now.
Yes, sir. Week number 10, and I will start it off. And let's look at what we have on the pipeline for week number 10. Veterans Day. And it starts on Veterans Day night, a very tasty Thursday night football game. The Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. MF, will have a very, very vested interest in that one. No doubt about that. Sunday slate, Tampa Bay and Washington, a rematch of the NFC wildcard game back in January. That'll be at FedEx Field. Only this time, it's not going to be Alex Smith. It's going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick going up against Tom Brady. We'll see about that. Atlanta and Dallas. That's a sleeper. I mean, do we all remember how how crazy that Falcon Cowboy game was last year. Atlanta had the game won. Dallas went for an onside kick. All Atlanta had to do was stop it. And then they Morocco molded it. Oh, boy. And that opened the door for Dallas, and Dallas won. And that little screwing of the pooch, if you will, saved us all from a Derek Ferreira rant on that, because you know he would have ranted. All kidding aside, Atlanta and Dallas, if it's anything like last year's game, this one could be even crazier. You know it's going to be a 5-star shootout. Matty Ice, Dak Prescott, let's go. New Orleans, Tennessee, that's a standout game right there. That's a sleeper game right there. Detroit and Pittsburgh. We'll see how Jared Goff fares against Pittsburgh at Heinz Field. Here's a very appetizing early game matchup. Cleveland and New England. I mean, in Foxborough, Baker Mayfield and company. Will it be Cam Newton? Will it be Mac Jones? You know, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Late window, Minnesota and the Chargers. That's a good matchup there. It's a sleeper game right there. Philly and Denver, another sleeper matchup on CBS, 425. Once again, depending on if Aaron Rodgers comes back, Seattle and Green Bay. Russell Wilson against Aaron Rodgers. And Lambeau Field, I think that might be right around the time that the tundra will start to get frozen down there. So Seattle and Green Bay. And then Sunday Night Football. MF, do you remember last year all the fun we had with KC in Vegas? Woohoo. That was a 5-star shootout with Mahomes and Carr. And that could be another shootout potential star game right there. And then Monday Night Football, the Rams and the 49ers at Levi's Stadium. So a lot of good matchups in week number 10. But MF, week number 10, it starts with your Dolphins. A very tough game against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens on the Thursday night. MF, you're there, right?
There it goes. There it goes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My other, because I have like two type of mics. I got the regular mic, and then I have like with the headset, I got a little control volume thing that muted on us. So that's okay. Baltimore, Miami is the first matchup I would look forward to more than anything else. Then on top of that, New Orleans and Tennessee, Cleveland, New England. One other matchup that we don't talk about, but we need to, Atlanta and Dallas. Remember what happened last year in that game? Dallas was so far behind, and then you had that funky, weird onside kick. Dallas somehow recovers and wins the game. It's craziness. Not really Indy and Jacksonville. Late games, Minnesota Chargers is definitely one that I would keep an eye on. Philly and Denver, you never know how that goes, but obviously the game of the week on that one. Green Bay and Seattle at Lambeau Field. Of course, the Sunday Nighter is going to be awesome. Kansas City and the Raiders. And then the Monday Nighter with the Rams and the 49ers. So we got some good matchups coming up. So, Mike Volek, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, we got a lot of good ones here for week number 10. I mean, you basically touched on everything when it comes to that. I mean, yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be a really good week number 10. So there's really nothing more for me to add to it. So, Florio, it is yours.
All right, and we move on to week number 11. NMF, we kick it off on a Thursday night with a rematch of the greatest Super Bowl in history.
It is the one game that I know Atlanta Falcon fans are circling in blood red. The New England Patriots in Atlanta. We all remember 28-3. We all remember where we were with that moment and what happened after that. the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history, the greatest game we've ever seen, the only game that has ever gone into overtime in the Super Bowl era. 34-28, the Patriots wins the title. So, and that was when Brady ended up getting number 5 on that moment. So, I mean, what a matchup it's going to be, to say the very least. That's going to be a great jump off to the week. Green Bay, Minnesota, as always. Indy and Buffalo. There's another matchup that's going to be very interesting to watch. New Orleans and the Eagles. You also got Baltimore and the Ravens and the Bears. And then, of course, Houston and Tennessee. Well, not Houston and Tennessee. What am I talking about? Late games. There's only one that really sticks out more than any other. Dallas and Kansas City. You got Arizona and Seattle. That could be an interesting matchup. Sunday night's got a good one too, with Pittsburgh and the Chargers. And then the Monday nighter, the Giants. The Giants gets another Monday night game, but this time they got to play Tampa. All right, ESPN. I got to question you about them against Kansas City. I really need to question you about the Giants and the Buccaneers. Why are the Giants getting Monday night games? Why? They're not that good. What are you doing? ESPN, you're screwing the pooch right now. I'm this close from doing the infamous Michael Fletcher. I can't take it. Florio, it's yours.
Unfortunately, we have lost Michael Bullock for the rest of the night. Obviously, work commitments beyond his control. So MF and I are going to take you through the rest of the way here. So, all right, Week 11. Obviously, New England and Atlanta. No question about that. Super Bowl 51, 28-3. We know the story. So, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. We'll see how that goes on the Thursday night. Sunday portion, early window, New Orleans and Philadelphia. That's a sleeper matchup there. Indy and Buffalo, obviously. That's another wild card rematch from the Super Wild Card weekend. Buffalo narrowly escaping against Indy. Detroit and Cleveland. That's a sleeper matchup right there. Green Bay and Minnesota. Always fun when they get together. Baltimore and Chicago. Another good one there from the early window. Late window, Arizona and Seattle. Obviously, keep an eye on that one. Dallas, Kansas City, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes. That's another Buck and Aikman special there because it's on Fox. That's America's Game of the Week right there. Pittsburgh and the Chargers. Could end up being our game, MF. You never know. But then again, Indy and Buffalo, that's another standout. Maybe we could end up doing New England and Atlanta. You never know. So we'll wait and see. Pittsburgh and the Chargers rounds it out. Monday don't bother. So that's all there is to say on that. So we move on now to week number 12. And since Bullock is out, this will go back to me. So and it's week number 12. And guess what? It's Thanksgiving. Triple header. And don't worry, we're going to do the bit in just a little bit. But Thanksgiving Day, of course, it's Thanksgiving, so they're all automatically honorable to be mentioned here. 12:30 on Fox, the Chicago Bears squaring off against the Detroit Lions at Ford Field in Detroit. Sleeper game at 4:30 here. The Las Vegas Raiders against the Dallas Cowboys at Jerry World, 4:30 on CBS. And then on Thanksgiving night, this will be pretty much the dessert right here. Second time in 3 years, my team, the Buffalo Bills, will be playing on Thanksgiving Day. We're playing on Thanksgiving night in prime time. Awesome. Against the New Orleans Saints at the Superdome in New Orleans. So there's your Thanksgiving Day right there. The Sunday of the Thanksgiving weekend, Tampa Bay and Indianapolis. Brady against Wentz. That's a fun matchup there. Tennessee and New England. There's another appetizing matchup there. Derrick Henry going into Foxborough. We'll see if he can run. If he can kick the door down and make himself at home there. Late window, Chargers in Denver. Sleeper matchup there. Rams in Green Bay. That all depends on if Aaron Rodgers comes back, of course. Minnesota, San Francisco. That's another sleeper matchup. Very appetizing Sunday Night Football matchup. Cleveland and Baltimore in Baltimore. Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson. That's got potential to be a shootout. And then Seattle and Washington. There's finally a good Monday night game. Seattle and Washington at FedEx Field. So those are the standouts there. And MF, week number 12. And we started off by celebrating Turkey Day the ravishing way.
You know the fans were waiting for that. Look, I'm gonna say it. Not the most best Thanksgiving lineup we've ever had. I mean, yeah, one divisional matchup, Bears and Lions. That's not bad. Dallas and the Raiders could be all right. Saints and the Bills could be okay as well. So, I mean, you got that. On the Sunday slate, not that many good matchups. Tennessee and New England definitely stands out. Cincy and Pittsburgh stands out. Tampa and Indy stands out. And on the late games, not really anything desirable. I mean, maybe Vikings and Minnesota. Sunday night's actually really good. Cleveland and Baltimore is really good. And then even the Monday nighter doesn't really stand out that great. So, I mean, yeah, not bad. It's decent. Anthony, week 13.
And MF, you started off week 13.
Well, we start out with a good one. Dallas and New Orleans on week 13. And then as far as the early slate, Arizona, Chicago, Indy and Houston. Well, not Indy and Houston. I mean, you got possibly Tampa, Atlanta, and then the Broncos and Kansas City. And then the late games, nothing really stands out, but there is one that really stands out.
How many of these games and how many of those games have we done over the years?
Oh my God. How many? Too many to count. I mean, you could add up our fingers and our toes, and that's how many we've probably done in the past. And that's probably not even enough. The Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers going at it at Heinz Field. The Sunday Nighter is also another good one where we got the 49ers and the Seahawks. And Monday night, oh boy, AFC Eastern Division battle, the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills at Orchard Park, New York. Oh my, it's about to go down, folks. So we got some good ones on week 13. So Anthony, it's yours.
Oh man, week 13 from my end. Dallas and New Orleans, sleeper game right there on the Thursday night. Minnesota and Detroit, maybe, we'll see. Denver and Kansas City, again, we'll see. Arizona and Chicago. J.J. Watt going into Soldier Field, could be interesting. Chargers and Bengals, only because that was Joe Burrow's first game. He went up against the Chargers in that home opener. Tampa Bay and Atlanta, could be a shootout. Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It was last year. Maybe it could be again this time. Brady and Matty Ice. We'll see. Another sleeper matchup, Washington and Las Vegas in the late window. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. We know the history. Regular season, playoffs. I think they've met in all three rounds of the playoffs. I think we've done a wild card game. I think we did a divisional game, and I'm almost certain we had a championship game. So much history and hatred between those two. Wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being our game for that week. San Francisco and Seattle on the Sunday night. If it's anything like the last time they met on a Sunday night in Seattle, week 17 of 19, I mean, that infamous 1 yard short game, we'll see. And then Monday Night Football, New England, Buffalo, at the newly named Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. Yes, sir. Can't wait for that. So, then again, that could be our game too, MF. You never know. So we'll wait and see. So that's week 13. Let's move on to week number 14. All started off. And we started off. Oh, here's a very appetizing Thursday night matchup. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Minnesota Vikings at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Dallas and Washington. We know the history. MF and I mean, that legendary NFL Blitz video game commercial from 20 plus years ago that MF and I had so much fun with. Cowboys, Cowboys, Redskins, Redskins. Well, in this case, we'd be saying football team, football team. But you know that you get the bet. Dallas and Washington, all that history. And then from there, Vegas and Kansas City at Arrowhead. Baltimore and Cleveland in Cleveland. That highlights the early window. Late window, Detroit and Denver could be a good one. Maybe a Super Bowl preview here in Week 14. This could be our game here, MF. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being our game. The Buffalo Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. We got it. It's on the mothership. Oh, boy, if that's the case. Almost was the Super Bowl this past year. Almost. Sunday Night Football, round 2 of the greatest rivalry in NFL history, the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And then close it out with an appetizing Monday Night Football matchup with the LA Rams and the Arizona Cardinals at State Farm Stadium. So that's all there is to say when it comes to week number 14. So MF, I mean, we started off with Pittsburgh and Minnesota, very appetizing Thursday night game, but don't be surprised if it ends up being Buffalo and Tampa for us.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, there's really nothing more to say on that one. And then you got some good ones in the middle. You got the Raiders in Kansas City. You got that one going. Actually, wait, you said week 14. So you got that one. You got Seattle. You also got possibly an interesting one. Tampa and Buffalo is definitely there. We got a good Monday nighter with the Rams and the Cardinals too. So there's a couple of matches that sticks out there. So nothing more to say. Week 15. I guess I'll jump in. I'll go right away.
Before you do, MF, there is a note that I need to address when it comes to Week 15.
Sure, go ahead.
In Week 15, 2 of 5 designated matchups will be played on Saturday, with the remainder to be played on Sunday. Specific dates and start times for such designated Week 15 matchups will be determined and announced no later than 4 weeks prior to game day. So try to scroll down the best you can because we don't want to miss those 5 games that are being in consideration. So keep that in mind. All right, MF, Week 15. Go ahead. Go on.
Well, I don't know which games are being considered. But I will let you know.
I'll help you out on that one.
Yeah, well, please help me out. So we'll start you out with the regular games. Obviously, the first one's the Thursday night, which is the Chargers and the Chiefs. That's confirmed. That's not being moved.
Right.
Now, when we get into the Sunday slate,
there are 5 games not yet scheduled, so I'll go through those.
All right.
To be determined. The New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins.
Oh.
The Washington football team at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Las Vegas Raiders at the Cleveland Browns. The Carolina Panthers at the Buffalo Bills. And the New England Patriots at the Indianapolis Colts.
Now, those would be interesting to say because I think the New England Indy game, that could be one that could get moved to the Sunday, to the Saturday. Maybe even Miami and the Jets, because I know Miami and the Jets they've tend to play on the Saturday before in the past. So I think they would do that. So that would be another game I could consider. I'm shocked that the Giants and the Cowboys is not one of the 5 considered. But, it is what it is. Seattle and the Rams is at a 4:25 kickoff. The Sunday nighter is New Orleans and Tampa Bay. That's going to be great. And then the Monday nighter is Vikings and Bears. So, we got to see how this plays out. A lot of good matches. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, Week 15 starts off with a very tasty Thursday night matchup with Kansas City and the Chargers at SoFi. Do you remember the last time KC and the Chargers played on a Thursday night, MF?
Oh, boy, we all remember that game. Holy cow.
How much fun did we have with that one?
Oh, yeah.
That's the best Thursday night game we ever did out of the few that we've done. But you never know. We could end up doing that, and you don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. Tennessee and Pittsburgh. A lot of history there. That's a former divisional rivalry, but that's a goodie right there. That could be our game right there, MF, very easily. Again, depending if Aaron Rodgers comes back, Green Bay and Baltimore. Can you imagine Aaron Rodgers against Lamar Jackson? Oh, boy, is that going to be a fun one. A sleeper matchup with Arizona and Detroit. Let's see here. Atlanta and San Francisco to kick off the late window. Seattle and the Rams. And then you got New Orleans and Tampa on Sunday night, barring flex scheduling, of course. And Minnesota and Chicago on the Monday night. And as far as the games that have yet to be scheduled, Washington and Philly, you remember they played the final regular season game last year to determine the winner of the NFC East. Vegas and Cleveland, that could be a sleeper game. NMF, New England and Indy. How much fun did we used to have with that rivalry back in the day?
Oh, yeah. We used to have a lot of fun with that rivalry.
Whether it was in Indy or in Foxborough, regular season or playoffs. Of course, that legendary AFC Championship game that I'll never forget, January of 2007, one that will forever live inside of me for as long as I live. So that's those are the standouts when it comes to week number 15. Week number 16. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Week number 16. And we got some stocking stuffers, let me tell you. Starting off with with a sleeper Thursday night matchup, San Francisco and Tennessee on the Thursday night. And guess what? We're getting not one, but two games on Christmas Day. Both good ones, potentially. Again, theme of the night. If Aaron Rodgers comes back, how about Cleveland and Green Bay? Ooh. Baker Mayfield and Aaron Rodgers on the frozen tundra on Christmas. Let's go. And then an equally interesting nightcap with the Indianapolis Colts and the Arizona Cardinals at State Farm Stadium. The Sunday slate, the Rams in Minnesota. Sleeper game there. Buffalo and New England round 2 at Foxborough. Detroit and Atlanta, potential sleeper game. That's the early slates. Late slate, Chicago and Seattle. Pittsburgh and Kansas City. There's the headliner. Big Ben, Roethlisberger, Patrick Mahomes. Denver and Vegas, that could be a sleeper matchup. Washington and Dallas on Sunday night, barring flex scheduling, of course. And then Monday Night Football, the Miami Dolphins and the New Orleans Saints at the Superdome in New Orleans. So those are my standouts for Week 16. MF, what are your stocking stuffers for Week 16 as they celebrate Christmas time?
Yeah, it's going to be a Merry Christmas. You start out with a good one. We start out with the Niners and the Titans. So that's going to be an interesting matchup on Christmas Day. Yeah, Cleveland and Green Bay, of course, all hinging on Aaron Rodgers as always. But Indy and Arizona could be a sleeper matchup. Once we get into the Sunday slate, there's not really a lot of good matchups on the early schedule. I hate to say this, except for New England and Buffalo. That's going to be the best one out of there. And then once you get to the late games, you get Chicago, Seattle, you get Pittsburgh and KC's the best one out of them three. And then Monday night, like you said, Miami and New Orleans, that could be a make or break for the Miami Dolphins. Going into New Orleans, going up against that defense and Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. We'll see how that plays out. So we're on to Week 17. As you just regular setup as usual. And look, you start out with a good one. You start out with Tennessee and Miami. After that, you got maybe the Raiders and the Colts. After that one, not really anything good on the early schedule. Maybe Arizona, Dallas. Late game wise, you got not really anything good. Broncos, Chargers, maybe. The Ravens and the Rams. That's a good one. The Sunday nighter is Vikings and Packers. Monday night, oh my God.
Season finale of Monday Night Football. Well, actually, no. It's not the season finale of Monday Night Football. I'll explain in a minute, but what is
the Brownies and the Steelers?
You want it?
Hines?
You want it?
Oh, Lordy. Oh, if it works, if the records are there, if we can do it, we'll do it. That could be the game. We'll see.
Sure.
That could. Florio, it's yours.
Week 17 from my end. Philly and Washington to start the early window. Miami and Tennessee, that could be a good one. Vegas and Indy. Keep an eye on that one because they played in Vegas last year and they had a good game. So keep an eye on that one. Don't dismiss that one. Also keep an eye on Atlanta and Buffalo. That could be a good one. Matty Ice and Josh Allen. That could be fun. Think about it. Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. One great quarterback receiver tandem against maybe the hottest tandem right now, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Ooh. Fun times in that one. And then Arizona and Dallas, renewal of an old division rivalry, J.J. Watt and the new look Cardinals going into Big D. Late window, Denver and the Chargers maybe. Rams and Baltimore. Lamar Jackson going up against Aaron Donald and that Ram defense. Could be a goodie there. Detroit and Seattle, we'll see. Minnesota and Green Bay on the Sunday night. But all eyes will be on that Monday night matchup, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Oof. Boy, howdy. That's got potential to be something really fun. So normally that would be it, but we're not there yet. One last order of business. The first ever Week 18. And there is a note that I need to address. A couple of notes. First and foremost, in Week 18, 2 games will be played on Saturday on ABC and ESPN. 2 games will be played on Saturday, one at 4:30 and the other at 8:15. With the remainder to be played on Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. and 4:25 p.m. and one matchup to be played on Sunday night at 8:20 p.m. Specific dates and start times for Week 18 matchups will be determined and announced following the conclusion of Week 17. Got all that? All right. Week 18, final week, and they're going to keep the tradition alive. All divisional matchups. So started off Dallas and Philly. And then from there, Green Bay and Detroit. Chicago and Minnesota. New England and Miami. New Orleans and Atlanta. Pittsburgh and Baltimore definitely will be our headliner, very likely. Chargers and Vegas. San Fran and the Rams. KC and Denver. And Seattle and Arizona. So not much more to say. MF, take it home for the final week, division week.
And normally what you just said, Anthony, a lot of the times those Saturday games will probably be playoff implication games. So that's why you always got to keep a close eye on it. Where are the wild card coming out of? Is there a division title that could be won? Normally they would love to save those games for the headliners. So any games that are major playoff implications probably will be on the Saturday or on the early Sunday window. And then they could rotate games here and there to make sure that you can balance it out where everybody will play at the same time just to ratchet up the drama a little more. So that's, I think, how that's going to play out. Anthony, you said everything that needed to be said, so I don't really need to add anything. That's it. We're done. Let's go.
All right. So that will put the bow on this 10th annual. Can you believe that? 10th annual Strictly Sports NFL schedule release special. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in this evening. Hopefully we helped you out with your schedules for this upcoming season, for the standout games to keep an eye on. We're back with you tomorrow night. MF, Brace Fan 95, Cerebral Smack Talk, the WrestleMania Backlash Go Home edition of Friday Night SmackDown, and we will preview the WrestleMania Backlash pay-per-view. And then Sunday night, immediately following WrestleMania Backlash, MF will take you through the recap of that. Monday night, Ridiculously Raw. Monday Night Raw. And in a special Tony's Take, I will have a review of the Impact Wrestling Under Siege special that will be going down on Impact Plus on Saturday night. And then Wednesday Night Mayhem. We'll see about this show next week, and then we'll take it from there. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, This is Anthony Florio here on behalf of my panel, good old MF Michael Fletcher, Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Didi Woodson and Derek Ferreira. As always, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smash Talk, keep it watching the 2021 NFL schedule release special right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.